What's going on, YouTube? This is Mick on the mic, and today we're going to be back on politics. Now, before we get started, I'd like everyone to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. Let's get into this. Kamala Harris, she's been having a kind of a rough week. A lot of people are starting to hold her feet to the fire, asking why won't she do interviews and why won't she answer the tough questions. Every time you see Kamala Harris at a rally, she's always reading off a teleprompter. She's always reading off a script. No one really knows what they're voting for with her because she doesn't say anything. All she says is a little slogan here and there. She doesn't say what her policy is and how she will implement them. Nothing. She finally made a campaign promise. It turns out that promise was stolen from Donald Trump. She stole the campaign promise from Donald Trump. For months, Donald Trump has been saying no tax on tips. That's been one of his campaign promises this time around. No tax on tips. He's been saying that rally after rally after rally. And then all of a sudden, Kamala Harris goes to a rally and she said, I'm going to do no tax on tips. And it turns out to be pretty weird because she's one of the person who voted to have tax on tips, to crack down on people not paying tax on tips. Now all of a sudden it's election time and now she's trying to campaign no tax on tips. Don't work like that. Your voting record is public. We know what you did. We know that you wanted tax on tips. So you can't change now just because it's election time, because everybody's going to see right through that. Then you got Project 25. A lot of people have been talking about Project 25, trying to put it in the lap of Donald Trump. But that's not going to work because Donald Trump actually spoke on Project 25. He said he does not endorse Project 25. He has nothing to do with Project 25. He does not like Project 25. And he actually went as far as calling things in Project 25 stupid. Those are the words coming directly from his mouth. He said he has nothing to do with Project 25. He says it was written by far-right politicians, and he wants nothing to do with it, has nothing to do with it. And when it comes to that, if he's president, you have nothing to worry about Project 25 because he doesn't like it, he doesn't want it. Then you have things like Democratic Party. Why do a lot of black people always vote Democrat? I think a lot of it started, when you grew up in poor neighborhoods or you grew up on food stamps and welfare, it was always known that the Democrats will give you the welfare, they'll give you the food stamps. And if you vote Republican, they may take it from you. So you were always told, vote Democrat. Because you were in those poor neighborhoods, and these neighborhoods are high crime, bad schools, poor neighborhoods, and things like that. So a lot of times people get out of those situations. They get older, they become better financially, and they move away from these high crime areas like a Detroit, a Chicago, Baltimore, things like that, Atlanta. They move away from these areas. They go into the outskirts. So they actually move out of the Democrat areas and move out to the outskirts into a Republican area because they're basically fleeing the Democrat area to move to the Republican area because they feel safer out there from where they are at this point in their life. But the problem is, what a lot of them do is once they get into those Republican areas and it's time to vote, they vote Democrat. Even in the local elections, they vote Democrat. So now they're bringing those same Democrat policies that made these cities with the crime-ridden cities and poor schools and things of that nature. They're voting for the same people, same type of people in the areas they live in now. So then you bring in all those type of policies to your doorstep, where eventually the area you move to starts getting bad, and you got to move further out to a further Republican area. So a lot of people, they do that. They don't realize they're doing that because they actually flee the Democrat area, but still voting for the Democrat area. So they flee to the Republican area, but vote the Democrat area. What they don't know they're doing, they could bring those Democrat policies, which causes crime, poor schools, things that's been going on in the urban areas for years and years and decades under the Democrats, that they never change. It's not a good thing. I think people should pay more attention to it, and I think once they do, and once they start realizing what they're doing, they'll start doing better with it, voting how they really should vote, which is their interest. Because when you think about it, someone living in a poor area, things like if they're dependent on food stamps or welfare, something like that, they're probably going to vote differently than someone middle class, because when you're middle class, you're worried about low taxes, You don't want to be in. You don't want crime in your area. You want crime at your doorstep. Things like that. Where a lot of people that's in the poor areas, they're just trying to get by. They live off the food stamps if you let them. They'll do that. They'll live off the welfare if you let them. And so they don't want that to be taken from them. And so how they vote will be different than how someone in the middle class would vote. And when it comes to black people, period, I think a lot of black people should switch to voting Republican, but not all black people. You don't want, like, you got white people, their vote is split. Asian people, their vote is split. Hispanic people, their vote is split. Everyone's vote is split except for black people. Black people is the only one that votes predominantly one way, which is Democrat. But when you do that, you got one side that don't want to fight for you because they know they can't get your vote. Then you got the other side who they got your vote. They're not going to do anything for you because they got your vote already, and you're not going to change. So, and that's the way it's been for a very long time. It was until Donald Trump started trying to tap into the black vote, started saying, hey, what do you have to lose? I'm going to do things different. I'm going to try to do things, to make things better for you. So now we're at a point where a lot of black people are starting to vote Republican, which is good because what you want is that tug of war for your vote. If this side's tugging for your vote and that side's tugging for your vote, chances are they'll start trying to do things for you. So it's better than having everything on one side or the other, because then you'll be taken for granted. I'm not saying that everyone on a Democrat, I think a lot of people voting Democrat should vote the opposite way now, but I'm not saying all of them, because if everyone that votes Democrat flips and vote Republican, all you did was move the problem from one party to the other, because eventually that party is going to do the same thing, which is take you for granted because they already got your vote. So keep the vote split. Some people vote Democrat, some people vote Republican. And how do you do that? The way to do that is vote for your interests. Vote for what helps you in your life. Vote if low taxes, if immigration, whatever policy, whatever is important to you, then you vote for that. If you want to pay low gas prices, you want the grocery prices to come down, you want housing to come down, inflation, you want inflation non-existent, then you got to vote for what you think can help attain that. So never give all one part of your vote or all the other part of your vote. Never try to down somebody for how they vote. Never try to shame somebody for how they vote, because everybody vote for their reasons. And if this side or that side has your best interest and what you feel like you need in your life, then you vote for them, and that's why you got the right to vote. You don't get the right to vote for people to shame you and ridicule you, call you different names just because you're voting a certain way when you got that right to vote. That's why you have that right to vote. To vote how you want, vote what you feel is important for you and your family. So that's what I got for you today. This is Mick on the mic. Let me know how you think about it in the comments, what you think about it, what's your opinion on it. But this is Mick on the mic. Until next time, peace.